Because like Arsenal DJ, did you expect Arsenal to make a big attacking signing in last summer?
Um.
Or were you happy with
Uh,
Havertz and Martinelli and Trossard?
okay.
I know
It's
Saka.
I can't.
Saka, everyone's happy
Yeah.
with.
I can't really remember where I stood, where I viewed the team in the summer. I think I didn't like the Sterling move. I thought Sterling was a bad player. I'd watched him for 2 years at Chelsea. I thought he was bad, and I didn't like the signing. A couple of Arsenal fans sort of disagreed with me. They said, okay, I said, fine, we'll wait and see what happened. Um, but honestly, I liked the squad, and I thought if you could get the right. So I remember now the argument I had with quite a few Arsenal fans was Martinelli is when you look at the attack. I liked Havertz and I like Jesus as his backup. I like Trossard as his backup. Obviously, we know Saka's great. My argument was I think you need to upgrade at left wing. While other Arsenal fans argued actually, if you get a better player as left back and a better player as the left eight side of the midfielder, that could improve Martinelli, make him a better player. So obviously, Marino, Lewis Skelly coming into the first team and Calafiori coming in, Timber as well after a season out with ACL. You thought,
Yeah.
okay, all this player is going to come in and improve the team. You might get more out of Martinelli on the left hand side. That would make Arsenal a better team. Obviously, that hasn't worked. Martinelli's shit. So, it's unfortunate. Sterling's also shit as well. Yeah.
Because my issue sometimes is with the transfers is when you buy depth. Like when you buy depth, you don't really strengthen the team. You just
Right.
make it bigger.
No,
Like
that's true.
that's why I like when we bought Kvara. Because that's what you do. You make your starters into bench players,
Yeah.
and you buy new starters. That's how you create that. That's what City did.
I think that's what Arsenal did as well, no?
Bernardo had like a top season.
Yeah.
Bought Mahrez, pretty much the second best winger in the Premier League that
Right.
season.
I think that's what Arsenal did as well, isn't it? Because you look at Calafiori, I think Calafiori coming in to upgrade on Kivior, Zinchenko, whoever you
Zinchenko.
want. Yeah, Kivior, Zinchenko. I think Calafiori at the summer going into the season was viewed as an upgrade.
But I'm thinking left wing. You're saying like they bought players around him to strengthen him. Like why didn't you just buy
left wing?
Kvara?
I think the idea with the left wing thing was basically Martinelli had an off season. He's going to be better next year. Looking back in hindsight, that was wrong. But I think you can understand the decision making process there.
But even like here at PSG, but who would you say was better last season, Barcola or Martinelli?
Barcola, man. God. I think it's tough because Martinelli played a lot more than Barcola, but I'd say probably Barcola.
Because and who would you say like had the more promising future, promising next season? Who had the more promising next season?
Oh, Barcola, yeah. Because
Barcola,
he was coming off a good season, yeah.
Okay, but PSG still wants to, like, we wanted to buy Kvara in the summer, despite that.
Right.
Like, why wouldn't? Well, like there are players available, especially in Serie A. Because Serie A don't have money. Like, you can get Leao for like a 90, and they already bought Rice for like 120.
Right.
They can't splash the money.
Yeah,
because it was English. They were willing to pay that much for him.
Okay, so I don't know exactly what the ins and outs of the transfer window were. But I think the idea is that there were other priorities rather than getting another winger. Because that's why, Sterling coming in at the end of the season was almost viewed as like a sort of panic buy loan move. Let's just get another body in. I think the plan was, okay, Nwaneri, the young attacking midfielder, he's coming through. We like him. He's gonna be good for us this year. You need a left eight because you want to phase out Jorginho. You need a Xhaka replacement. Havertz is not going to be playing in the attack. Okay, that's another part of it as well. If Gabi Jesus is going to be fit going into the season, you're going to have Trossard for a full season, and now you've got Havertz is now a full-time striker. There were probably just too many bodies in the attack. I think that's another part of it. And then you're bringing in Marino to play midfield, and I think that's the way sort of Arteta and the board, they view the summer going into the year.
And what about now this summer? Do you feel like Arsenal has to put the 140 for Isak?
I no. Okay, so it's tough. Okay, so as far as what Arsenal need, right? I think ideally you sell Tomiyasu, you sell Zinchenko, maybe you sell Kivior. I think you bring in another defender, preferably a proper left back, so like a natural sort of proper left back in the mode of like someone like a Gutierrez at Girona who can play more of a conventional left back role. I think you bring in another midfielder and then you sell Zinchenko. Maybe you let Partey leave on a free, so you add a midfielder, and then you bring in probably 2 forwards. So ideally, you sell Jesus, or you just sort of, you say assume he's not even there because he's going to be coming back for the ACL. I think maybe you sell Trossard as well. Obviously, Sterling won't be back, so you bring in a striker and another winger. That's what I would do. I don't know who exactly those players would be, but I think those are the positions I would look to target.
But do they have to be top? Is it Isak 120, Leao 90? Then Arsenal win the Champions League.
Yeah, so I don't think the striker needs to be a top player. I think the winger needs to be an upgrade over Martinelli, So I think someone like Leao would be really cool. I think someone like Nico Williams, who's more of a creator, a playmaker, that could be cool as well. Yeah. I think so. I like Havertz, right? I think he's a good player. I think you can win a league title with Havertz as your striker. Like obviously this season he's been bad. He's been really bad form right now. But I don't think Havertz is as bad a player as what we're seeing week in, week out. I think he has certain qualities that you like. And I think the striker that you bring in the summer doesn't need to be 150 mil for Isak. I think if Vlahovic is available for 30, maybe you have a conversation about that. Just someone who is better than Jesus, and someone who can actually be a good quality option for the attack. That's what I would do. Yeah.
And I mean, we talked about this since the beginning of the season, but Arteta out if you don't win the Prem? I guess no.
This year or for next year?
No, this year.
This year? Oh no, definitely not Arteta out.
Oh, why? How many more tries are you gonna give him?
Yeah, I don't
think UCL. If we're sitting in the 5th season with Lucho and we haven't won a UCL, which is harder to win than the Prem, he's gonna go.
Is the Champions League? I don't want to say Champions League isn't harder to win than the Prem, but I feel like it's harder to compare because I think with the Champions League you just need to go on a good run, but I think with the Prem, like you have to be, especially with the way it's been the past couple of years. With City last couple of years, Liverpool now, I think you have to be like a great team to win the Prem,
Okay, let's just say it's both are missions. Okay, both are missions the clubs want to accomplish. Arsenal, their main accomplishment is to win the Premier League. Since 2004. PSG is to win their first ever UCL.
Right.
I'm saying this is the 2nd season. If it goes above 3 seasons, we haven't won UCL.
Yeah.
I don't care how good football we play. I don't care how many league and we have won. He needs to go.
Yeah. I don't think the way to improve a team is to change the manager. That's just the way I see it. Because I think if the players still believe in the project and the players still believe in Arteta, then I don't really know how you get better by changing managers. That's just the way I see it. Like I think you should only ever really change manager if the manager maybe doesn't believe in the project as much, or the players are losing faith in him. Like, I think just to say we want something to change, so let's sack the manager, I don't think that's the way forward. I think also, like in some situations, right, you could say, okay, if we change manager here, you can get a higher level manager who can attract a better quality of player. Like for example, Kvara maybe didn't want to play for Mikael Arteta, but he wanted to play with Luis Enrique. So if you had Zidane in charge at Arsenal, Kvara might have been willing to come to Arsenal. That's just an example.
I don't even know if it's about attraction. I think many players will go to Arsenal. I just don't think Arsenal want players. I think Arsenal settled for mid because it costs them much less. As you said, by Ted Bowley and Erbali, they think about the economical structure. And Arsenal Plus, they have this American extremely cheap owner. What's his name?
Kroenke.
He's like extremely cheap. So
yeah, I think this summer Arsenal were cheap. Definitely, like, you can say that with confidence.
Yeah, and that was the season where, especially with City being weak now, DJ. If Arsenal had spent gotten an Isak, gotten Leao.
No, that's hindsight though. You didn't know that City were gonna do this year.
No, we didn't know, but last summer I didn't understand how Arsenal didn't buy a top player. You're supposed to always strengthen the team. They believe that the team will just get better because it's a young team. We have a young team.
I think signing Calafiori was a top signing. I think Like he had a great Euros.
Left back, like if you want to win the Premier League, you don't sign a left back.
But a left back was a weakness, though. If you want to improve your team, you improve.
I agree,
weakness, right?
but
So
that shouldn't be that shouldn't be like the priority.
But more spending 40 mil on a left back, that's a big signing, I'd say. Like that's we want to improve a position of need, so you buy a top tier left back. A lot of clubs wanted. Let's not forget now. A lot of big clubs were after Calafiori after we were together.
Yeah, and that showed that like Arsenal do have great attraction. They play in the Premier League, pretty much the second best side in the Premier League last 4 seasons.
Yeah. No, but I'm not disagreeing with you. I definitely get what you're saying, And I think the biggest example I've mentioned already is Guevara. Like I think if he was available for a reasonable fee, maybe other clubs should have been in for him. I think Chelsea were linked, United were linked, but I think Arsenal probably could have looked at that and said, "Oh, let's put our foot in the door as well."
That's another thing I don't like about the PSG's management is this reasonable price.
Right.
Like, yes, I agree that the majority of the signings you make should be either at their price or lower.
I'm just saying bargain, basically just a bargain. Like if a great player is available for a bargain, you should go for him. That's what I'm saying.
But sometimes you gotta overprice, like Declan Rice.
Of course, yeah,
Declan Rice, DJ, that's a big ballsy move.
Yeah, that's
like, we want to win the league. That's that kind of a move.
Gonna get him with a Man City, that kind of move.
Like Arsenal, Saka is a great player, but he was from the academy. Like Arsenal haven't signed a top attacker since Aubameyang, Lacazette. I don't count Havertz because Havertz was a good add-on.
Havertz isn't a top attacker, but if you're talking about big statement attacking signings, I would say Jesus at the time when he was signed. So he was signed as a key player from a elite level Man City side who had like the winning experience, and he was going to come to Arsenal and improve, right? So
and he actually cooked
right until he tore his injury. Exactly. So I think Havertz, Jesus, is an example there where like you can't predict a player tearing his ACL. You can't really.
Since Jesus,
about that. No one since Gabi. That's what I would say. Yeah. And remember, Havertz was signed to play midfield. He was signed as the
defensive aide.
Yeah, exactly. He was signed as a Xhaka replacement.
Okay. And then Ødegaard came. Like Ødegaard, that's a great signing.
But he was like a cheap bargain, I'd say.
Wasn't he both like 50? 60?
No, I think it was about 25 to 30.
Oh, that cheap. Okay.
So, yeah.
Get Lee Gunner in here, man. No.
So how does Lee? I think you've had conversations with him. So how does Lee Gunner see it differently to the way I see it? Then
I mean, the thing with Lee Gunner, first of all, with Arteta, like he says always, he's been Arteta out before Arteta came in.
So okay, he doesn't like Mikael.
Yeah, I would say he has an agenda because even like, for example, Lucha DJ, I gave him a chance and then I became Lucha out.
Right.
Him, when Arteta was announced, he said Arteta's not going to win anything. I don't support him.
Okay.
Like since the day. So it's more of an agenda. But I agree with Lee ever since. So not last season, but the season before that. So when you finished second for the first time.
He wanted him out.
No, he's wanted Arteta out since the beginning. I'm just saying I agree with him. Not really that season. Maybe it's more about the mentality. He's always, for example, he posted a video saying like all the links to Arsenal. Yeah. Arsenal interested. Arsenal are in love with this player. Arsenal put a bid made, but then they do nothing. Like he wants Arsenal to make that kind of a big move, and he thinks Arteta has been given enough time to show that he can win something. And he hasn't won anything. He also complains a lot. Like he made the comparison to United, saying, "Oh, United are way worse and everything, but they're still winning stuff." Arteta, obviously, he pretty much skips out on the FA Cup and the EFL Cup. You can do that if you win the league.
Yeah.
But when you don't win the league, then that is also seen as a failure. Because if you don't win the league, at least win the cups.
Okay.
So he's mad about Arteta's focusing everything on the league. But not winning.
Yeah. Okay. That makes some sense. Yeah. So I don't want to speak for him, but I think it's one of those where he's just frustrated in general. But he doesn't necessarily think Arteta is a bad manager. I guess. Would that be right? He's frustrated that Arsenal haven't achieved everything, but he doesn't think that it's a bad project or Arteta is a bad manager.
I don't know, like about the tactics and so on. I think he often talks about the mentality. He says that the standard has dropped at Arsenal.
Okay.
Yes, obviously the standard was low when Arsenal were bad, like 8th in the league.
Right.
But he's saying that now that Arsenal has gotten better, the standard needs to follow with it. Where you're supposed to expect trophies, you're supposed to expect the Premier League, so that when you don't win a Premier League, you call it a failed season.
Okay.
So like the last 2 seasons, he probably calls them a failed season because Arsenal didn't win anything.
Yeah.
Whilst other Arsenal fans say, but we're on our way.
Right.
I could say both are right, but like if you don't win it this year, if you don't win it next year, coming second is good. If you can, like last season semi-final, it's bad losing to Dortmund in a semi. We didn't win the UCL.
Yeah,
but we were okay with it. DJY, because we were hyped about next season.
Right. Okay.
This is his first season. We have a young team.
Yeah.
La, la, la.
Okay, so I think the issue with that logic of you've reached a certain level but haven't succeeded at the highest level, so now your expectations are at the highest, are to get to the highest level. The issue with that is you're almost a victim of the expectations then, because like I said already, in 22-23, Arsenal weren't expected to win the league. So for the fact that they were able to, Arteta was able to coach a team to get to, I think, 85, 86, 87, however many points, and didn't win the league. I think that's something that isn't something that should be looked at as a failure, is basically what I'm saying. You know, like,
but
that was
why weren't Arsenal expected to win it last season?
No, I said 22-23, not last year.
Okay.
Yeah. So like last year as well, Mo. The thing with that is, like, I don't think losing the league titles to City should be viewed as a failure. That's as well. Like, people can say,
in both these 2 seasons, haven't Arsenal bottled it as well? Like, they've been top of the league, and then they lose games they shouldn't have lost. I remember you were 2-0 up versus Liverpool, and then you just shine your pants. Saka missed a huge win versus West Ham. Isn't it this bottling the league?
Yeah, so the 2-0 lead versus Liverpool was 22-23. I think Liverpool were pretty bad that season, so that was disappointing. Yeah, I think Salah
at the beginning of the season, that wasn't the expectation,
right?
But after 3/4 of the season had gone, you expected Arsenal to win.
Right.
We're first. We have a good point cushion. City still competing in the UCL.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so I think the last 2 seasons, I think it would be harsh to judge them as failures. I think they were good seasons, and Arsenal were very good. I think this year is the year you look at and you question, why has the club taken a step back? Why has the team taken a step back? I think that's where me and you we agree we can meet in middle on that, because I think the fact that as well with City being as bad as they are, it should now be okay. Arsenal was second, City fell off. Now Arsenal should be first. I think we can agree on that, right? Okay, so now if I'm looking at the reasons to why Arsenal have not taken that leap to now be first, I don't look at Arteta as the reason why. That's the issue I have with saying he needs to go. Like, I look at the injuries, I look at the squad itself not being sort of in a place where I can say, oh, you have no excuse to not win the league. I think there are excuses. That's why I struggle to look at Arteta and blame him. That's it for me.
I mean, I would say he's part of the management for like the summer. He could have forced Arsenal to push for more signings.
Right. I think the attacking depth is the issue, because Jesus, apart from a month purple patch, he's cooked. Sterling has been cooked for 3 years now. Havertz has been bad this season. Martinelli has been bad this season. Trossard is an average player, but is like a good, decent squad player. We know Saka's great. Odegaard missed good periods of time this season. Like, that's what? How many players have I just named? 7 players that you're relying on to be your attacking unit to create goals.
Yeah.
And we've seen countless times this season games where Arsenal have dominated but not been able to put away to score the goals to win the games. And I think that's on Arteta as well as the squad. So it's just like two sides to it, isn't there? Yeah.
No, what I like to talk about Arsenal with you a lot as well is sometimes I see the same things at PSG, and I immediately protest. It was like when we were bad, and I see stuff like, even if we get knocked out of the UCL group stage, Lucho would not be sacked. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah, I think the expectations should be different.
I don't care about anything.
Yeah, I think the expectations should be different at PSG to Arsenal though as well. I think that's a part of it that should probably be factored in.
I mean, I do consider like PSG to be much bigger,
exactly,
especially in recent time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Football, is a lot about money. And Arsenal, well, they have like the sixth highest revenue in world football. So they should, for me, just because, and they have a great squad. So just because of that,
Right.
you should have high expectations.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I think also part of it, when people say that I'm defending Arsenal, I think part of it for me is like because of how bad Arsenal were. So it's like I'm just appreciative of everything Arteta's built. So I'm almost loyal to him in a way. As much as I didn't like Arteta, like when he first got the job, because I really liked Emery and I thought Emery could build something good. So when Arteta got the job, I was like, who's this guy? What, Pep's sidekick and all that shit. So I didn't really like Arteta. So I think I'm just like I'm appreciative of everything he's been able to do at the club. That's why I don't really like have the sort of anger for him, the way a lot of people do.
But when does that period stop becoming relevant?
Well,
like
he did
now you've become
right?
a good club.
Yeah.
So like where you were at isn't as important. It's more like,
but more, I feel like you always need to remember your roots, though. I think that you can never forget that. You need to know where you started from, to like give you a good level of perspective. That's what I think. Like I get what you're saying. I do. I'm not. I don't disagree with you. Like you need to at some point.
It's like on my. I can say it on myself, DJ.
Okay.
The expectations I had on myself as a YouTuber for this YouTube channel have changed.
Of course.
Like the first day I started YouTube, I still remember those days. I still remember when we had the live stream and I had 0 concurrent viewers.
Right.
Like that means I'm grateful for every single thing. But when I see the number that I have now, still I gotta work harder so that number becomes even more.
For sure.
The more you grow, the higher the expectations go. And it feels like Arsenal with like here, 8. You got better. The expectations like, well, okay, let's go for top 4. Let's go UCL football. And now you pretty much like stay there. Okay, we're top 4. Oh, we're second in the league. Second in the league is actually good. And then it's like you don't go out and splash money for a big signing. You don't do this. And I'm like, does that mean you're content just being in the top 4, second place?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see what the board and what Arteta and the new sort of, because obviously Edu's gone, so it's going to be a new. I don't know who's in charge now, but whoever is in charge of transfer now.
I don't think they have. I think they want to get Campos in the summer. They've seen what Campos been cooking.
I don't know is that a good thing or a bad thing.
What, for us as PSG fans, or for
no? I mean, as far as like you said, you've seen what Campos has been cooking. I don't know if that's good.
I think it's better than Edu.
Probably.
Well, the thing we also have to mention with Campos, DJ, yes, in his first summer, DJ, we didn't have that much money because of the huge wages we paid to Mbappe, Messi, Neymar. So there wasn't that much wiggle room. Campos still signed Vitinha, who was a great signing.
And, I think Fabian as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it was a good signing. We didn't give it more time. Yeah. Renato, that was a bad one.
Soler, I think. Oh, Soler last year.
Soler was that year.
Yeah, 22. Yeah. I was hyped when we got Soler, bro. I was hyped.
We got Mukiele as well.
I was hyped for Mukiele as well. I was very hyped. Yeah.
Like decent squad with the money.
Yeah. It's one of them. Yeah. No, it's one of them where like you see them on FIFA. He's like, yeah, he's good. He's got good stats. Good pace. Good.
Yeah. And after that, he spent 700 million.
Ooh, that's crazy.
Like in our big summer when Neymar Messi left, we spent that much money.
Yeah,
he's not gonna get that Arsenal. Arsenal, he has to be way cheaper and go for even cheap. Like, do you think he could have done the Neves deal, Arsenal? Would Arsenal have paid that kind of a money
for Neves
or someone who's has only one season under his belt? Because we know we got a steal in today's market, especially how good Neves has been. But Neves only had one belt. Yeah. And this season we buy him for 60 plus 10 million in bonuses.
Okay, so I'm trying to think back to like Arsenal moves. My first initial thought, I would say no, because like the young players Arsenal have bought to like take a chance on are like like players like Marquinhos, Nuno Tavares, Sambi Lokonga. I already mentioned that. Martinelli as well. Obviously, he's been a success. But
Yeah.
I would point to Saliba at the time for 30, 35 mil back in 2019 as well, out of San Etienne's academy. I think that was
Yeah.
a risk, and it's obviously paid off. You look at what's his name, Kieran Tierney as well, out of Scotland. Like it was only about 25, but I think signing a player out of Scotland for 25 mil is a risk at the time for like a 20,
Yeah.
21 year old. And you look at Ramsdale in goal. I think at the time again he was a young goalkeeper, hadn't had any real success at Sheffield United and Bournemouth, two shit teams, and he comes to Arsenal for a big fee. And I'd say he paid off because he was good for a couple of years. You know, obviously Raya is in goal now. But no one to the level of Neves, like you said.
Yeah. So Campos is a great sporting director. Like all the time I've been against him. I think sometimes he's a bit slow when it comes to deals and so on.
Right.
But his biggest flaw was when it comes to signing big players.
Mm-hmm.
And PSG, like we need to sign big players because we're competing for the biggest trophies. So that's a flaw that's gonna follow him. But when it comes to the youngsters, like has much better talent ID than they do. And you mentioned with Saliba, League N, and I would say Liga Nosh as well now, are the two best places to buy young talent. And that's what Campos' speciality is.
100%.
He even has some in South America too. So, and Saliba is the best Arsenal signing in the past like 5 years?
I'd say Odegaard more than Saliba, but because I think Odegaard really transformed the club. Like from the moment he set foot in Arsenal, I think it wasn't the Chelsea game because I think he was signed. The Chelsea game was in December. He came obviously in January. But I think from his first full season at the club was great, and he's the captain now, and he's been amazing since he came.
Okay, so I think Campos would abuse Ligue 1, sign top talents from Ligue 1, like a Turkey, like an Achilles or something.
Yeah,
I think Campos would be a huge upgrade for Arsenal.
Yeah, I think the good thing about Arsenal is I think the squad is in a good place as far as like there's a lot of really exciting pieces, both sort of in their prime and a bit younger. I think the defense is good. We know the defense is a really good unit. I think pretty much just like I said, 4 positions. So another midfielder to replace Partey, a left back, and then another 1 or 2 forwards. I think the bigger question is how he's going to be able to maybe get some sales out. Players like Jesus, Trossard, Jorginho, Partey. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting.
Because if I was Arsenal, the main thing I'm looking at is striker and left wing, and that's it. I think Isak Leao, and it's very hard to bet against Arsenal potentially winning the league next season.
I agree.
Yes, it's a lot of money, but that's the step. That's what Arsenal needs to do. I think that's what
that's where you're at now. That's the level
to win the league.
Exactly.
Not sign depth. I don't want to see them go after like Garnacho.
Right. I think Rice was the first step towards that, and I think you would be not you, but like it's disappointing because they haven't then taken a step further in that direction. It's almost back to the Marino Calafiori route, rather than Declan Rice. Yeah, I agree with that.
No, because like I would say the reason I troll Arsenal is because it's the same reason a lot of people troll PSG because we haven't won the UCL.
Yeah.
We have come close, just like Arsenal.
Right.
But we haven't won it. But I would say me as a PSG fan and other PSG fans, we always expect to either win it this year or
challenge for at least
you win it next year or something. Especially not because so when Neymar came, DJ, that's when the expectations started. Every single year, UCL or nothing.
Yeah.
And then I would say after we reached the final, DJ, that was the biggest mistake PSG made. The unfortunate thing was obviously COVID happened.
Yeah.
But we didn't strengthen the squad.
Mm-hmm.
So we had built up all the momentum, reached the final, then we just went down.
Right.
Bad mistake, signing Messi, mistake. And then bomb, we got rid of Messi, Neymar, Ramos. That's when we started going up. So for me, from next season, because my expectations for this season was better than last season, which means win everything in the league, win the cup, win the Trophée du Champion, and at least semi. That was my expectation for this season. From next season, UCL or it's a failed season.
Okay.
Like we've had enough time of this project thing. Like we have a good team now. We have a good team. We know how to play on. They know how to play on the lucha and everything.
Yeah.
And even this season, I feel I should expect a UCL. Even this season.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I don't know. Maybe some people call me delusional, but like, what's the point in participating in UCL if you don't want to win it or feel you can win it?
100%. Yeah.
Also needs to keep. Oh, that's another thing, DJ. Like, what happens if you don't win the league this year? You don't win the league maybe next year. Would Saliba want to go to Madrid?
Sorry, I was reading something. I don't think that's really too much of a risk. Like, and also, if Saliba does say he wants to leave, like Arsenal have, I think he's just signed any extension. So I don't think like if Madrid won him, it's 150 mil. That's what I think Arsenal would quote.
Ooh.
So like unless Saliba says, oh, he wants to force a move, but he's just signed a contract extension. So I don't really think that's a fair.
What if he forces a move then?
I mean, if he forces a move and says, I want to go, I think, like I said, Arsenal put 120, 130 mil price tag on him when they say, if you want him, come get him. But, I think also, like, if Saliba says, oh, I want to go because I don't think Arsenal are achieving what I want to achieve, I would say, okay, cool. Off you go. Like, it would be sad to see him go, but I wouldn't lose my mind over it.